the NBA nation has witnessed the rise of the New Orleans Pelicans. With a formidable squad headed by C.J. McCollum and Larry Nance Jr., Devontae Graham and Brandon Ingram among the most impressive talents, it seems as though the Pelicans do just fine without injured Zion Williamson. This leaves room for a trade, and rumors circulating suggest the Knicks are strongly eyeing Zion. Here's how the Knicks can pull a wild Zion Williamson trade. Will he stay with New Orleans? Zion has been sought after since his days in high school at Spartanburg Day School in Spartanburg, South Carolina. At 19 years old at Duke, he was famous for his unique blend of eye-popping size with extraordinary athleticism. Then, as the New Orleans Pelicans' #1 overall pick, he's already one of the most valued NBA players. It's been noted how Zion stood up to the best in the game, including the likes of Giannis, the Greek Freak, and Antetokounmpo, and the King LeBron James. Yet, with all that considered, the Pelicans had to persevere without Zion. The Pelicans filled the void left by Zion and rose to the occasion by relying on their other teammates. Pelican triumph without Zion was really noticeable in February, where the Pelicans actually started showing off their best basketball performance in years. They won 7 of 11 games and were on a 4-game winning streak before losing an overtime game in Denver to the Nuggets, where Nikola Jokic's 40-point triple-double stunned the NBA universe. At that time, they were still 10 games under 500 at 27-37, and they held the 10th best record. They went on to claim a 4-game winning streak, with 3 of those victories being big wins by 28 points or more. Although the Pelicans lost 12 of their first 13 games during that time, they had definitely sharpened their teamwork, giving them a shocking advantage. The blend of the most improved player, C.J. McCollum, and the decision to have the starting lineup with Jackson Hayes, Jonas Valanciunas, and Herbert Jones made the Pelicans one of the more difficult teams to contend with. For the and one, McCollum combined with Brandon Ingram to create a powerful duo for the Pelicans offensively. They were able to defeat the San Antonio Spurs and LA Clippers in the NBA play-in game before taking the #1 seeded Phoenix Suns to 6 games in their first-round series. Imagine how much more dangerous the Pelicans would be with their star player, Zion Williamson. Unfortunately, Zion ended up missing the entire 2021-22 season because of a foot injury. Although the Pelicans and Zion were pushing to get a return to the court as soon as possible, and actually seemed headed back after a few weeks during the postseason, the franchise exhibited extreme caution against that order due to more complications from Zion's injury. The city of New Orleans loves Zion, but New York is in search for a main lover. When Zion was welcomed to New Orleans, it was the sentimental homecoming by the state of Louisiana, courtesy of the legend Drew Brees. In a note left for Zion alongside the signed #9 jersey, Brees wrote, "Zion, welcome to the family. Let's dance." Afterwards, "Let's dance" became Zion's catchphrase after an off-the-cuff comment he directed towards Pelicans fans on draft night. Zion is eligible for an extension this offseason. Meanwhile, his injuries are a major concern. But tensions are beginning to run course as there's been a lot of chatter about him wanting to leave New Orleans already. If there is a chance that Williamson could be on the move, the Knicks are a team that would be near the front of the line to acquire him, and the merge could be a lucrative long-term engagement for the Knicks. According to top NBA analysts, to obtain Zion, the Knicks will have to surrender a lot of the assets that they have compiled in recent years. In that hypothetical trade, the Knicks would be letting go of Obi Toppin, Alec Burks, and 4 first-round picks over to New Orleans for Zion. But is it worth it? From New York's perspective, that is a ton of draft capital to trade for someone who has been injured for practically a season. Moreover, Julius Randle is presumably still on the roster at this point, which would create a huge logjam at the position and create unbalance on the roster. So, without Randle being moved, this trade might not be the best course of action for the Knicks. They would likely haggle down the asking price on draft compensation as well. Truth be told, in the event of a trade, New Orleans would have the bargaining power to make the big moves in upcoming drafts. With all of the first-round picks they acquired from the Los Angeles Lakers and Milwaukee Bucks for Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday, they would be outdone only by the Oklahoma City Thunder in draft compensation. Of course, New Orleans would surely love to retain Zion, but if they can receive an offer like this, where they could get 4 first-rounders and a promising lottery pick in Toppin, that could be enough for New Orleans to pull the trigger on a player who hasn't seemed to be committed to their long-term program as well. It actually seems that a trade would be beneficial to both teams. But Knicks are the ones currently most desperate for such a trade. Why would the Knicks benefit more? Let's have a look at the Pelican roster without Zion. Devonte Graham was unanimously picked as the Big 12 Player of the Year, averaging 17.6 points and 7.2 assists per game as a senior. His highest points in a game touched 40 in 2019, and he was also named a consensus member of the First Team All-America by multiple organizations, and the coaches have a lot of faith in his abilities. CJ McCollum, the most improved player, has surely done his part to guarantee the Pelicans maintain a reputation of being formidable. Finishing with 20-plus points for his 8th straight contest while shooting over 50% from the field, it is safe to say that everyone can agree that his vital contributions to the Pelicans have been upheld. He also knocked down 3 triples and has now converted 3 or more in 4 of his last 6 matchups. It's expected that the Pelicans will continue to lean heavily on McCollum's scoring attack. Brandon Ingram, also known as the Spear of the Undefeated, was definitely able to provide for the Pelicans. With the departure of Lonzo Ball and the continued absence of Zion, there was no way for Brandon Ingram to carry the Big Easy all the way to the postseason. Yet, he rose to the occasion. Now headlines read, Brandon Ingram has been consistently good for the New Orleans Pelicans. When Ingram was drafted in 2016, right off the bat, Ingram averaged 9.4 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.1 assists in the 79 games he played as a rookie. While those numbers seem unremarkable in the whole scheme of the NBA, the 6'8" forward never gave up and continued developing in the years that came after. Now he's on the verge of being a big contender. Herb Jones, often called Turbo because of his stamina, has some great praises to his abilities regardless of his youth. He was the AP third-team All-American in 2021, and the same year was the finalist for the Naismith Trophy Defensive Player of the Year. At the close of the 2020-21 regular season, Jones was named the SEC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year by the league's coaches. Plus, according to Sports Illustrated, the Pelicans' rookie guard Herb Jones is a tenacious defender. New Orleans saw value in the versatile forward and selected him with the 35th overall pick in the 2021 NBA Draft. And now, his defensive prowess is proving to be an essential ingredient in the Pelicans' recent resurgence. Jonas Valanciunas, aka Rambo, has continued to show his worth to the Pelican lineup. Just recently, on the 20th of March 2022, Jonas Valanciunas had 26 points and 12 rebounds to lead 3 New Orleans players with double-doubles as the visiting Pelicans beat the Atlanta Hawks 117-112. As for the next lineup, the Pelicans garnered Garrett Temple, Tony Snell, Jackson Hayes, and Larry Nance Jr. So while they offer vital support, McCollum provides the type of consistent scorer and three-point shooter efficiency that the Pelicans have actually never really had with Zion. They've had to adjust and evolve, and they've done an excellent job in this regard. Enough for New Orleans to maintain an edge even without Zion. So, would you make that trade if you ran the front office over at the Knicks? And if so, who would you give up to acquire Zion? Or if you were head of New Orleans front office, what course of action would you take? Comment down below.